Thank you for watching here on YouTube Live at Blooming Light at Blooming's Tribe. If you happen to be logging in live, and if you are, the original air date is Wednesday, I want to say August the 13th, 2025, and it is approximately 8:42 Central Standard Time AM. Okay, if you're logging in at a later time and date, whenever you're seeing this video, thank you. This is not a reading. This is creative, thought-provoking discussion utilizing symbolism, parables, you know, to bring about a point. So the title says, cleaning house, but cleaning house, but and then after you see but you see lots of hashtags. You see hashtag karmic, hashtag toxic, hashtag narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, targeted. Okay. Now, but I do want to I like bringing physical examples of things because it's easier, I should say, to put an image to it. It feels easier to touch, right? To touch, to imagine, to ponder, to process when we are looking at something that we can physically apply, okay? So go with me with this imagination. You can picture it that it's you, because usually if we picture it as ourselves, that's where we get the most effective idea of how we may feel about a thing. Okay. So cleaning house, but dot dot dot. So let's say you're cleaning your house. Let's say you are a single mom. Okay, since there's a lady here. Okay, so let's say you're a single mother. Let's say you got maybe even multiples. Let's say you have toddlers, teenagers. Let's say, yeah, we can roll with that. We can roll with that. I'm trying to see what angle I want to go in. Yeah, let's go with that. And, let's say your life situation, you're the everything. Because listen, if you're the single mother and the father, no qualms to fathers out there, but in this context, the father, not there, not involved, not helping. He's somewhere, wherever he is, okay? And and so it's you're the everything. You have to be the everything. It ain't a matter of, no, it is what it is, okay? You're everything. And let's say you're middle class. We want to paint a picture that's going to make this effective, okay? Because if you're somebody that you got a buttload, shit ton of money, then this ain't going to work, because all you got to do is push a button, okay? So we want to think of it in terms of somebody that's possibly middle to low class. And what I should say, I don't even like that term, but you know what I'm saying, in terms of financial. Okay? So in other words, you can't just be rando, oh, I'm going to call a housekeeper. It's you. It's you. Okay. Now, let's say you're somebody that is diligent. Let's say, for intensive purposes, you're someone who is diligent. You're someone who does clean your home. You have maybe a routine. You try to stay on top of it as much as you can. You may even try to downsize, simplify your life, almost want to what do they call it? Feng shui. Like, okay, minimize in order to get rid of lots of clutter, which helps when it comes to cleaning. Because if if you're not overdone and overpacked, it's easier to kind of manage. So let's say, and this is to the collective I'm talking to, I'm just going to go there. I am not consenting, nor am I talking to my stalkers. I do not consent to you and anything about you. I do not consent to any exchange with you. I do not consent to any of your fuckery, any of your sorcery. Okay? I do not consent to any courting. You're not accepted. Anything that you own, ricochet effect. I am addressing the legit viewers and followers and subscribers of mine from a sincere space, the real supporters. To the others, and that's the answer there. You don't exist. Now back to what I'm saying. Back to what I am saying. So you feng shui, you minimize. Okay? You're like, you know, you got a routine, you got, you know, you try all those things. You're cleaning. And I'm not talking about in a weird OCD, overly sterile, clinical, museum-y kind of way. Okay? Because that's another topic in conversation all by itself. Okay? Houses are lived in. They're to be lived in. Okay? So they are going to get dirty. It's a matter, it is. They're going to be dirty. It's going to be messy. It's not going to be pristine in every now moment. And not if you're living. Okay? And not if you spend any significant, time there. If you spend a lot of time away, maybe that's possible. Okay? Now, you clean, you organize, you clean. Every day. Just picture this. Picture you. Like this lady. Shit, nigga. Okay, where's my next one at? You cleaning, whoop. You know what I'm saying? Whoop. She's like singing and shit. I'm cleaning. Clean up. It's time to like all that. Okay. Now, you finally, you get it all done. Hold on one second. I'm trying to see something here. You get it all done. Where's this other one? Another one I want to share if I can get to it. Anywho, you get it all done, right? You sigh, right? And then it seems, like just play with this thought, that it seems as though in a blink of an eye, it seems like just like that, okay? That just like that, I can find what I did with this. This is gonna be fun. Just like that, as you done all your diligence, whoop. Okay, then here come this motherfucker right here. I mean, it seemed like it was just blink. And it's all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Whoop. Look at just, nigga, we just, shit, snacks, tater chips, blankets, bitch. Just like that. In a blink. We're not talking about the natural progression. Hear me out. That's why I said it the way that I said it. Because houses are to be lived in. They're going to be messy. It's going to get messy. Okay? But in this context, a blink. Like you just literally, like you did it all and you looked around as clean and you took your breath and you went into whatever it is you're going to do. And then you looked up and boom. Okay? And then the motherfuckers sitting there smoking their cigarettes and nigga, what is this on the floor and shit? Oh, and then just like, oh, nigga, it's just garbage and Pampers and Whoop. I was like, what the fuck? Remember, she had her little caddy, and she was smelling clean up, clean. You know what I'm saying? Grinning and shit like, I got this shit organized and shit I'm doing. Yeah. And you're like, what the hell? Because you just put it down. You were trying to go to, as you went through your task or your schedule and things to do, after you had went through your cleaning, you were onto the task of your day, whether that is to go to work, whether that is to, doctor's appointments, whether that is to your business, if you have a business, and that, a client operations, whether that is to, some much needed self-care. Maybe you wanted to go and get a massage or whatever it is, you had did what you were supposed to do for that day, and you were headed on to, the rest. So it's kind of daunting because you're like, what? Because you're like, okay, I gotta clean up. I gotta do it again. What the hell? What the hell? Now you can see her. She looks exhausted. Now I want you to play with that if this is you. If you can go there, if you're able to actually go there, play with that in real time. Like, see if you can sit into it and feel into that. And let's say that goes on multiple times. Maybe, now for the conversation purposes, let's say maybe you're okay with it the first time. Okay? Because maybe, sometimes it's a fluke, right? So let's say it's something that develops into a pattern. So let's say the first time it happens, maybe you don't feel altogether flipped because you're like, okay, I'm annoyed, I'm a little exhausted, but this is just one time. Okay? Now, let's say you notice that there's a pattern that every time it is time for you to either go do some self-care. Let's say every time that you attempt to schedule something to take care of yourself, or every time it is time for you to see a client, if you have a business, things like that. Every time it's time for you to do those types of things, it seems as if it is like it just fell out from the heavens or from the skies. The moment you wipe the last table, the moment you clean the last mirror or window, whatever that is, the moment you spray the final mist of aromatherapy in the place, that the moment you do that on a pattern schedule, every time you have scheduled yourself to have any kind of self-care, or if you have a business and a client, it seemed like trash came from the sky. The trash just seemed to appear. Your kids, kids you don't even have seem to magically appear. So everything just seemed to come through the ceiling on a pattern level. So once it gets to this pattern, and a pattern means that there needs to be repetitive past two. Okay, so this means this has gone on. Okay, let's say you've caught it. Like, okay, at first you weren't tripping, but then you caught it. Like, okay, this been on for 4 weeks. And it's only this way. It's only here. This is the pattern we're picking up. Because any other time, if you don't have nothing scheduled special for yourself, or you don't have anything to do with maybe your business and clients, where it's kind of like you just sitting there zombied out, and just basically managing everyone else. Okay? When it's like that, you don't get that. It's the steadiness of the clean seems to stick a little longer. A little. Okay? But the moment you are now shifting into energy that has nothing to do with being Lily housemaid and nothing to do with, taking care of everyone else, when it's something to do with something beneficial for you, whether it's your health and your well-being, self-care, self-love, or the mastery and development of your business. A client, things that's going to be productive for you on a long haul. Now, how do you feel? You picked it up. Will you be still in this Zen, kumbaya type of an attitude? If you have recognized the pattern, and let's say throughout the recognition of the pattern, let's say you attempted to get even more and more creative with each week, each day. You attempted to get more creative with trying to help the cleaning to stick. Let's say you even recruited, like I said, if you had teenagers and children and stuff, you elicited them like, hey, I have a planned self-care day coming up, or I have a client that I'm about to see, I'll have coming up here on this day, and it's very important that I get to keep this appointment. So could you all manage to pick up, behind yourselves for this particular day? Like, let's say as this pattern develops, you to try to make the adjustments to try to stop the pattern so that you can get these scheduled, whether it's the self-care or with clients, and you talk to the children, the young adults, or the whoever, like, could y'all, woo, like, just, this is important. I get y'all but I'm letting you know in advance. Okay? That mommy has a very important day. This is scheduled, so I'm giving you heads up. So this week, I have this scheduled to go to get a massage because, mommy is, single mother, and everything is on me. And, I want to be able to keep the engine running and without hating on y'all, without projecting on y'all, without blaming y'all, without abusing y'all and vomiting on y'all because I'm overexerted. So, do you all mind this week kind of just keeping up with your stuff so it's not all piled up so that I have to continue to address it every day or during the time that my appointment is, at least for that day? And let's say they kind of nod and like, yeah, sure, yeah, no problem, yeah. And let's say you even give them tools and tips. Let's say you take it to an extra level. You give them tools and tips of easier ways they can do it so that they don't feel overwhelmed. Let's say, you put stickies or stickers, where they frequent in the house, and you give them a method like one task at a time, 5 minutes. Like, let's say you even go that far so that they don't feel overwhelmed. To help them to manage, look now, here it is part, to manage their mess. Because you're not asking them to manage yours. That's not what that is. Because chances are you're already doing that for yourself. Chances are you already incorporated it because you've been trying to make your own life easier. So it ain't a matter of you asking them to pick up behind you. You're asking them to pick up behind themselves. Okay? And they agree, and then lo and behold, here comes week number 5. Okay? Here comes week number 5. So you're going into, the schedule. You gave them a week in advance notice. Everybody know it. You sent motherfuckers reminder text messages, a day in advance. I remember tomorrow's the day. You did all of those things. Okay? You even displayed during the week, you showed them how you do it for yourself. You let them look at you and watch how you manage to keep your own personal mess at a minimum so that they can see how you do it. Okay? And the day comes and, here we go. You do your normal standard cleaning because you didn't stop doing that. You do your normal thing. And once again, as it's time for you to go, it seemed like it still happened. So you're even more baffled because you're like, wait, but I gave them a text reminder yesterday. And now it's time for me to go to the appointment that everybody's known about. And voila, it's a shit show again. Now sit with how would you feel if that really happened? What would that feel like with this patterned behavior? What would you start to think and believe and feel? What would be running through your mind? How would you feel in your body and your emotions? Will you be zen? Kumbaya? What would you think about your family in this context, since you got teenagers and stuff like that? How would you feel about them? How would you feel about the people that you care for daily, that you are assisting daily? They're given the message. Okay, now you might accept it, because they're teenagers. You may accept that that's kind of how it is, but that's not going to change the fact that you might feel as if you don't matter and as if you are being objectified to the roles in which people want you to play. Anything outside of that is something that's going to be sabotaged. Now, apply this energetically and spiritually. That's the physical example because I want us to connect to the, if you're looking like, nigga, I didn't we done all experienced something like that, where it's like, I done came, nigga. I done, and like I said, it's not even a matter of wanting people to clean your shit because you're trying to show examples of how you manage it your own. So it's really just everyone else picking up their shit. Hear it? Everyone else picking up their shit. let's go spiritual, energetic. Let's go there. As a targeted individual or an empath, there's programs the code, the frequency for you to be the energetic garbage can. For you to be the energetic light in exchange for their garbage. For you to be dimmed so that they can shine from your light. There are exhaustion codes. And what that looks like, how that's manifested, is via all of the methods in which they've been torturing you. Community, organized community networks, harassment, gang stalking. Via a handler to come in to be an asshole. Via tampering with your children so that they can't develop, so that you have to do more. Via sabotage, because that's what we're talking about with the cleaning example. So what is that? Baneful spell work, poison, attempting to elicit trauma to keep you in the state of trauma, to keep you in the state of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Via betrayal, again, to keep you in the state of needing to what? Via gossip, smear campaigns, persecution codes, character assassination, to make things treacherous unnecessarily. Via petty games, childish games, via attempting to disrupt. And remember the example. The example was the only time the house seemed to get miraculously redirtied in a matter of a blink was when she scheduled something special for herself, self-love, self-care, or her mastery. If she had a business or a client, anything to, that's the only time. If the investment of her energy and her attention and her focus was going to be going towards something beneficial for herself, not just for the household, and not just for, like I said, being Florence Nightingale Lily Maid, okay, or cleaning up boo-boos, and damage controlling and triaging. But instead, she's got to damage control the house and triage herself, because it does lead to some type of exhaustion, which is the exhaustion code and the exhaustion program. That's the whole point of it. It's to lead to overwhelm. Agony, misery, anxiety, stress, continual. We're not talking about the natural stress that just comes from existence. It's designed that way. So would you be kumbaya even in this sense when you're, will you be fluffy, love and light 24/7? It is designed to pull you out of that. But here's the point that I'm making. In religious or spiritual communities, especially mainstream, and when I say mainstream, I'm really referencing karmic. Because not all karmic stuff is necessarily as severe as what some of us have experienced. Many of us have experienced big time psychos. Okay? I get that. Big time. Big time. Big time. On a criminal level. What I'm talking about is, karmic in a sense, not consciously expanded. I call it the Disneyland version. And it's no quorums. I'm just simply saying, because they're more 3D based. They definitely usually are more 3D based, even if in their spirituality and religion. A lot of them still do not have. I'm telling you. And some of them don't have context, so they have not. It's surface. It's surface. And they have not experienced. Not to say that the others are better because of the experience. I'm just talking about context of why they cannot process it and cannot understand it, and would have this tendency to lean into, it's like, you don't have a context. So when when people are observing, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when the outer world, the external world, the outsiders are trying to observe and so-called assess and so-called evaluate and so-called make some kind of a determination based on that, if you don't have context, and may very well be karmic, and you don't have any context, you lived a fluffy life, or you've just, whatever the case may be, where it's like you did not have to experience that. That was not your journey. You didn't, so you have no context. Reading it in a book doesn't matter, and getting a degree in it doesn't matter either. So to kind of say, well, just know that the source is always with you, or on the religious side, God, okay, nigga, huh? Shit. Because when, again, the sabotage the targeted individuals live. And just because it is not in your face, or should I say their face, and they can't process and fathom it because their fluffiness, well, they've been married since they've been allowed to have sex, and they, or they came from, what, all these various different situations where it was really never a space of time for them. So they ain't got no goddamn contacts. So they will view these targeted individuals through their various stages, or when they do have emotion or upsetness, or they got people sending energies, and they are doing all of the things because it goes into, well, you just need to clean your energy. I went here for a reason. You just need to clean your energy and clean your space and do your protections and wards. We get that. We get there and we get that. But they're still missing the point. You do have to get there. And the whole point of all of these things is so that they don't. Remember, we all start off a certain way. Okay, you don't come, I mean, you do, we do, but we got to get in alignment because of the, But as far as our conscious awareness, okay, we all start at a certain point, in this physicality especially, okay? So even though you can sit up there and click on a button and you see a video or you do some research, these things must be applied, correct? And they must be applied diligently, sincerely, and consistently, correct? To get true and lasting impact. Meanwhile, the individual, like I said, even though you have it in your DNA, you don't come just with it, the access and the knowing and it's a process of coming into alignment with that and remastering, if you will, because perhaps you mastered in another life, but remastering, getting into alignment. Now, guess what? All of this other stuff is a distraction, so the person can't do it. They're already processing through their own traumas that have been accumulated, possibly for some, since they were in the womb of whoever's womb they were actually in. Shit, nigga, that's what I'm saying nowadays, nigga. I don't even know no more. I don't even know, I'm just saying like, I'm just saying like, Cause shit, I'm seeing how trashy. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Because I'm just accepting. This is acceptance. This is not me being pessimistic. This is not me being negative Nancy. This is me being an acceptance of reality, inconvenient truths. Okay? Now, the individual, the targeted individual, who, starseed, earth angel, whatever they were sabotaged in the womb and everyday since. From every angle. And this is all covert in some cases. Some of us physical too, but a lot of it was covert in background and unbeknownst too. Okay? So their own stuff, now pair that, tie that in with everything else, okay, that the human experience is. That everybody, okay, tie that in with their own parts where they got to go through their own learning, their own mistakes, their own uh, addictions and choice, their own poor decisions based on, like, they still got to go through all that stuff as well, okay? Which is, with all of the distractions, is still another sabotage. This is still a form. Keep them in poverty. So what do you think that's going to, you don't got to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. Because money is not the root of all evil. Money is just simply going to bring out what the fuck is in the motherfucker. Money is currency. It's an energy. And it serves for this physicality. And it has potential, like everything else, to do great good or massive evil. When it is being strategically restricted, what does that mean? So then the person is on this loop, just got clean your energy, and clean your energy, and you need to heal, No, we don't. you need to heal, really? No, they keep throwing shit. And then they keep distracting. Because mastery is right here. If I get too clean, if I get too much of a handle over my own life, they're afraid of what comes with that. So this is kind of why, and I try to be as candid as I can be about some of the different stages and phases I go through or have gone through, especially in the past. I was talking shit. Oh, I was mad. When I went through, I'm telling you, when I went through some of the initial stages of it, this is back in 2018, 2019, those earlier 28, yeah. I was talking mad shit because I was somebody who's diligent. I know what they did and how they tried to make things appear. But I knew that I was someone that, didn't have a problem with, like, healing, bitch, okay, let's do it. Even when I was on the religious path, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't no lollygagger. I wasn't no lazy puce warmer. That wasn't my get up. It ain't never been. Wasn't like that. So, so the person lives with the frustration of knowing that they are doing all the things they need to do. So it becomes annoying when you hear fluffy fluffersons from Fluffinsville. I'm not sorry, stop saying that. It becomes a source of frustration because it's like, you're looking at them, you almost feel like you looking and you want, like, hello, listen, hello, anybody? Because you're like, sometimes it's not a matter of well, just focus on the positive and believe and whoop and it's like that's putting me because it's still kind of fashioning. So when is it? See, that's the part that people aren't really, in my opinion, aren't really looking at. Because at some point, nigga, huh? Meanwhile, life is happening. You're watching your children suffer unjustly, and and then at the same time, simultaneously, you watching every low life that is walking in this realm, grinning like they in the Macy's Day Parade, like they something special. Off of the blood. Yes. I'm seeing many people who aren't even as developed or qualified, but they are a karmic. Or, because that's the karmic template, baby. They got, associations with, Hollywood, big time Joe Schmo or Wooty Woo, and he dumb as fuck. But, because, oh, I said it. But by association and by previous fame in a different arena, and can copy and paste from the light ones. I promise you that's what that is. And gathering data, because you remember, money and this is it's a resource, and it can be for good or evil, or it has potential. It's just simply going to amplify and bring out whatever the fuck is on a being and in a being. That's all. And if they ratchet, so it's and it look, the target population is in part human as well. Yes. And they are good folk, and they're diligent, and they're giving it all they have, and they have a template of not, it's really they don't want to do harm because they come from a different kind of frequency. So it's they they don't want to, and they hate every time that they have to. They hate it. And the only reason why they hate it is because they know, by way of their experience, soul consciousness, they know it is a better way. That there are other choices for all. And so it makes them sad. They have to do harm. Their expanded consciousness knows the rippling effects, and they feel sad about the unnecessary casualties that things often leave because they are provoked. However, that endless loop, at some point, they refuse to stay in. The loop, the karmic loop, and the trickery behind it all. Distract them, la 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 la, just like a toddler, just like a little kid. I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. I'm not doing nothing to you. At least that's what it seems on the surface. Anything to distract them from their self-love and self-care, which is a part of the whole ascension or transcendence, and it's a part of the whole wholeness package and all of that stuff. And it's the template and the space and the foundation in which you build from. That's your point of manifestation if you're wanting to manifest from the true higher heart frequency and consciousness. Because sure, you manifest shit. We wouldn't have the world as we know it if you can manifest. It's karmic. Hello. Let's not pretend that we don't know. There's a whole lot of people manifesting a whole lot of shit and they trash. So, you know, it ain't like that. Or in some cases, even if they're not trash, it's just that, you know, like I said, money and resources and muscle and connects is another way in how people do things without conscious expansion. Hello. Come on now. You can get yourself, you can purchase yourself, come on, the Just Right PR team. Huh? The Just Right tech department. Huh? The Just Right social media coordinator. The Just Right praise and worshipers. Doesn't mean that there's conscious expansion. Nope. But they can get the script and say it. Y'all don't be mad at me. I'm just, look, this is what I've observed. This is my humble opinion. There's always exceptions, all things grain of salt. I am clearly aware of that. So, the targeted population, at some point, this is where they become disinterested. What ends up happening because they just accept that, hey, maybe there's just some people that they can't relate, or they, you know, they don't get it. They think that we need to do some more healing. Look at this example. So the lady that with the cleaning example, the house, okay, the cleaning up, and then bitch with the blink, it seemed like it just gets dirty and whatever. Is she the problem? Does she need to be more responsible? Does she need to get a better schedule? Does she need to get her priorities in order? Is she lazy? Is she selfish? Is she invalid, inept? What's the issue in the example? Is she underdeveloped? Is she just perhaps not ready to be a mother? Is it that she's just not perhaps ready to have her business? Is it because she's just not putting herself out there? Or is it because every time she attempts to? The code to punish the targeted individual, there's a code, it's a code to punish The targeted individuals, the empaths, for shining, these are the ways it manifests. For shining their light, because again, as they go into mastery, this is where you're going to see it happen the most. It's been happening, and it's so subtle, and it's been so continual. And since the individual hadn't broke maybe the first couple of levels or walls, it's harder to even see it. But once they begin to break that long-standing, consistent mold they had been forced in, and decided, nigga, bitch, I'm shining with, I'm doing this, bitch, fuck you and all of you times 1,000, nigga. I'm doing this. When they start doing that, that's where you're going to see the resistance kick up in high gear. That's when it's going to start looking like they have bad luck, looking like they're cursed, looking like they did something wrong, looking like maybe they lack skill or development, looking like maybe they're not ready, looking like maybe their priorities aren't straight, looking at like maybe they're weak or inept, looking like, because they broke the molds, shocked the world. It's like, shit, he's almost on a frequency level. All the parasites, you know what I'm saying? Woo, all the parasites. Oh my God. And hence the networking begins. Oh, we can't have that cancel culture. Ooh, let's find a reason to put them on the list so that we can limit that. Banking on the targeted individual not knowing anything about these things, as well as banking on the fact that the mass majority of society don't. Hoping that would at some point then just simply push the targeted individual to give up on themselves and let the people run off in their energy and accept their lot as lily maid, nursemaid, boo-boo fixer. So that everyone else can shine off of them. Hoping that that's what it'll get to. Or that they'll be driven to insanity, driven to psychosis, major mental breakdowns. And that's even better, because that's just the added bonus for their ass. Bonus points, then we really get to look like heroes. Bonus that we were right, that we not the nut. Destiny swap. And that's what infuriates them. And when they have tried to, go to the spiritualists in some cases, and even religious, because most targeted individuals have definitely been through, on the fool's journey. They're on that quest for truth. So they have definitely been people who have went through all of the ranks of it. Various different religions and philosophies, and they've done that. So they do get to the point like, It's like, because no. And then, because it's the same thing, it's this 3D based stuff, it's the same thing. Anytime they it, anytime, even in those sectors, when they're attempting to become a part of some, I'm gonna start calling them all cults, but become a part of some group, okay? And, they start shining too nice, bitch. That's a problem. That's a problem. It's a problem. It no matter, it's a problem. And then that's when all the funny energy start kicking in and it start happening. It'd be wonderful when they just broken. When they're just broken, because that's the code. They want to feed off the pain. They want to feed, y'all better catch it. Because it's a switch. It's a swap. As long as they're in this energy of, I'm broken, I've fallen and I can't get up, crying and, as long as that's the vibe and they get to come in and step in and pretend like they helping and it's cool because they get to display their power. They get to display, bitch. Huh? And so it becomes an issue though when as the targeted person begins to tap in and build in, align to the vine and of source light within their sovereignty and connection to the source of light in all creations. Their origins, their true essence. When they actually do step into that, even when they're just at the first 2%, this is what's crazy. Just at the first 2%, touching the surface. When they step into that, it's overwhelming for a lot of these people. And they start to take it subconsciously some kind of way. I have stories where I can tell you, I got many of them, and what I actually experienced in these various different sectors when things, started to alchemize out a little bit more and so forth, and strength was kicking up, and there's a glow, and it's a glow that happens on a frequency level, but then sometimes it then also kind of morph outward. Sometimes we allow it to, because a lot of us shut it down for safety. I found that out too. Because, if you're bullied for shining, what are you going to do? If the program in you has been that, so then there's a frequency, isn't it? It's a code. For what? Survival. Huh? Same thing. Every time I shine, I'm attacked. Every time I shine too big, too bright, too authentic to me, every lizard and reptilian in existence manifests. And then their power, depending on their levels and what they have access to, these particular karmas, their resources, their connections, do you see you see it? So, I learned over the years that on a subconscious level, so we suppress it. This is why we end up co-creating or manifesting certain things too, for our safety. It's weird. We're hoping that's that program and that trauma, hoping that that's going to keep us safe. but it doesn't. And once we come to those levels, this is when we start to just go ahead and say we gotta change this shit, because even that's still not really keeping you safe. Anytime we would allow the target individual allow, like I said, 2%. They're just at 2%. They themselves haven't hit max. 2%. Coming out goddess mode, nigga. And when I say goddess mode, please, if you can, come out of the over superficial stuff, because I'm not necessarily going there. It's an inside out ordeal. It's an inside out ordeal. So just imagine you're working on your energy, the targeted pop of the person, they doing some things, so they got to a 2%. This means there's a vibrational and an auric field shift. Number one. That then has affected everything else. Then it creeps and morphs into, now pull it forward, pull it out, the manifested physical. So this means even if even if they are not traditionally by the cultured standards, okay, someone that would be looked upon as exquisite, beautiful, pretty, whatever it is, for some reason, it seems that way though. Whether it be their style, I'm telling y'all what I know. I'm telling y'all what I experienced. Woo. They start getting their capacities together and shit. Woo. I remember this was back in, when was this? It had to be, what, 2020? Yeah, 2020 or early 2021, because it was around the COVID, but it had broke and they started letting people go back to the businesses again and stuff like that, because it had barely broke, because it was a time where we couldn't do shit. You couldn't do shiznit. I remember that. Like, it was just all shut down, but you ain't going nowhere. Except for the necessity, So they had, started opening things and allowing businesses, to practice. You just had to either bring your mask or, something like that. It may have even been passed when they were requiring that, when they stopped it. And, at that time, I was working on my energy. And, in Las Vegas, Nevada, you have, just as much as liquor stores as in the ghetto, you have lots of metaphysical, types of places that you can go to. That is something that I do. I'm grateful for about that. That you got a lot of that. This is one favorite crystal store of mine. Oh, I so wish, bitch. Oh, nigga. Nigga. I wish he was here. Anywho, off topic there. So I remember, so I was going to like weekly, I think I was going to like weekly Reiki sessions. Like they would have like, for like a group. And then I was doing my own individual one. So I was doing like a combination. I was going to like the group weekly, okay? And then I was paying for my own private. And then I was already starting to do my own Reiki on myself. So I had, several things that I was doing at that time. And it was helping, okay? It was helping. And so I was, then able to take care of myself a little bit better, my health, my well-being, my physicality. And, it went from going in looking like I got run over by a train. Right? Looking like I got run over by a train, because it's like, because when you're exhausted, you're depleted, and you're dealing with all this gunk, you don't know, all these entities, all this spell, because you'll have no clue yet. You got to find all that out. You don't know at first. Okay? On top of regular life shit. So, it went from looking like I was ran over by in a matter of weeks. I think it was like in a matter of 3 weeks or a month. And then like I went one day, I remember this, because usually I was in there just with my yoga pants. My yoga pants, I love those. It's easy, it's comfortable, and it's fast. So, a hoodie, my hat, and depend on my wig might not have been on tilt. You know what I'm saying? The wig was traumatized. Anywho, so I went from that to goddess mode. I remember going in one day because I felt better this particular day, and I decided to shake up my own routine. Okay, I was like, shit, I got education. So I think I put on one of my favorite outfits. Like, what did I wear? Yeah, my black stretchy leather pants. Whoop. My snakeskin pumps. Huh? And then I had on this fur coat, bitch, nigga. This gray fur shit, nigga. I did my hair, took my hat off. Huh? I think I did my nails, had my little makeup on, and one of my favorite perfumes. Child. I was still me. I was still the same one that from, the previous week, looking like I ran over by a train. Same personality, same attitude, same, exchange, just dressed different. And boy, let me tell you, I had to have many experiences like that for me to put it together, because at first I thought it was a fluke and I thought I was tripping. But when it started to become something that I could pattern, when I started noticing people getting weird and funny with me in some way, whether it was passive aggressive slights and remarks, or whether it was something in their body language, it's like, okay, what happened? Like, I don't think I did anything to them. And then what I would always see following that is the people that was basically, normally kind of let themselves be plain or didn't really fix up or anything like that, which, like I said, that's fine. But the people that would normally be that, after they see me that way, guess what? I would see the following. Now, that wasn't necessarily bad to me, because I felt like if I'm motivating in a healthy way, then that's cool. But if it's this energy of that competing, that catty, that, fear of attention being taken away, whatever it is, that's different. Healthy motivation, somebody being healthily motivated to do better for themselves, it don't come with nasty energy. It doesn't come with that odd behavior. It doesn't come with that catty coldness, under the cuff compliment / insult. It don't come with that. And guess what? Now, here's where I'm going with this and how it's going to tie into this video. what signal, frequency, and subconscious coding did that reinforce for me? Every time even when I started using my Reiki, and I would notice, because in some cases I would be participating in things, and if you are someone who do it, you can use it, okay? And I would notice the shifts in the sessions or those meetings in which I activated or used Reiki myself through the room. I noticed it. But anytime there was that other stuff. So what it began to reinforce is it's not safe. It's unspoken. Follow me. It is not safe for you to shine. I don't care what they said out of their mouths. What it signaled is it's not safe for you to shine. It is not safe for you to be powerful. It is not safe for you to be in goddess mode. It is not safe for you to embody. It's threatening to too many people. It's going to range from they think you're trying to take what's theirs, where they think you're in competition with them, or they think you're going to poach their clients, or they think you may surpass them, or they think you want a man. It just depends on the situations. And so then as a result, you're going to get some unpleasant energy. And it's going to come in many forms. It's going to come in being overly critical of you, looking for a flaw, nitpicking. Ooh, what's that smell? This is a metaphysical place. You're going to smell sage, lady. You're going to smell sage. You're going to smell essential oils, Palo Santo. You shouldn't be here if you have a problem with those things. It's going to come in a form of when you do share that they encourage you to do. See, this is the stuff you're going to learn. When there's two, because if you open your mouth, then they're going to hear power. If you rule in the element of air, they're going to hear that intelligence. And that's going to be triggering for some. Especially, you see what I'm trying to say? And then you'll get the compliment, you'll hear, or a statement like, as you share, well, remember you were saying how awesome or beautiful that felt, or how powerful and encouraged or something you felt when this, because they have little exercises you do, and when was the memory of, and blase blase, so they're encouraging you to do all those types of things. And if you share those things and then also still share a vulnerability, this is where they then begin to try to nitpick you apart. Well, remember you said, as if just because you are powerful, or it's just because you've had an empowering moment or victory, that means you're not vulnerable or susceptible or have any other further things going on like everyone else. And that's all designed. This is the point that I'm making. It's not safe. I'm just supposed to be Cinderella. That's what they assign the empath and the targeted individuals. for the karmics. I'm supposed to be nursemaid. I'm supposed to be scrubbing toilets, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Somebody got to clean the toilet. That's not what I'm saying. But trying to limit you to that because of your great potential and wanting to have the great potential that is yours for themselves. And the only way they can do that if they can manage to control and restrict you and harness you and harvest you and all of those things, and literally steal in some cases. To make them feel like they're never good enough, that maybe they just need to work harder. Maybe it's not their season. Maybe they deserve the bad treatment. To make them believe everyone else should be the priority. This is why targeted individuals end up on, they call it the fool's journey, but they end up usually not a part of any clique. I have to say it that way. It's not that they're not friendly people. They just usually end up preferring to not be a part of cliques because of where it goes. Humans tend to need a lot of control, or at least the illusion of control, which is why they do the things they do. It's also why you'll hear them every blue moon. And so they feel some kind of way. You're gonna hear that because they know full well what they're doing. They know full well they're diligent. They know full well they have quality. They know full well they see trash every day on social media. Trash, just trash, nigga. Just trash. And in some cases, where it ain't trash, it's just something that's been regurgitated and copied and pasted from someone else. And they see these very things blow up like it's special. This is why they know there's a matrix version of shit and then there's the real. They don't have quality. They know they're diligent. They know they've been working on themselves. They know that they didn't have a problem. They didn't look at it all, baby. They did religion. They did spirituality. They did behavioral health and science, all and everything in between, honey. There's people they came up with that could have served in getting a good, nice, hefty dose of going to the goddamn mental place. It wasn't for lack. And they catch on, and since they catch on, this is where their frustration, you are going to hear that. You're going to hear them speak out. You're going to hear them talk about these things because they see past the bullshit that most of humanity is not seeing. Ain't because they just so broken. They're not broken. The world is. because of the toxic culture, abuse culture. The entitlement culture, entitlement for someone else's shit. And I mean, ranging from energy, the world that knows about that, the powers that be, the individuals that know full well what I'm saying. Because that's entitlement, is no matter how you want to flip this goddamn pancake. Something that their soul have not cultivated, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Ooh, I want a swabby switch. Yeah, just pile on. Go ahead. Further curse your blood. The world is broken. Fear-based. As long as that's the template, then it's broken. Because this is why people are animalistic, disguised as philanthropists. Scarcity. At least the consciousness of that, the programming, which drives people to what? There's only so much, and I must have it all. I must have it all. I must take theirs as well. There's only so much. Image-driven society. What is it? What is this gonna do for my image? Okay. That's definitely not an expanded consciousness, I can tell you that. What's this gonna do for my reputation? How about let us worry about what we are and cultivating an authentic one, which includes, but not limited to, walking the talk. It includes owning up and accountability about ourselves, becoming and aligning in truth, not just in theory and in conversation. The hard things, the challenging ones, the inconvenience ones, you know, in the name of really trying to be a better version of ourselves. Not perfect, but truly and authentically and sincerely better. As far as it depends on us. We're not going to talk about variables that is out of our hand, but as far as it depends on us. But that's not what the world wants in a massive way. It's just not. It's 3D based. It's the matrix template. It's narcissistic abuse culture, period, point blank, the end. Shortcuts and copying and pasting. The look, the feel, and the benefit of actually being evolved without being evolved. That's what everybody wants. The oohs and ahs that come with that, the accolades that come with that, the energy that actually, the signature that comes with that, the vibration that comes with that without actually being that. What you think? Why do you think there's so much hard work gone into Project Sabotage and fusion centers and deep state and these religious cults and these spiritual cults and covens and secret societies and distorted witches and warlocks, wizards and whatever else? And even aside from that, just people who are toxic, people who dabble with nefarious dealings, underhanded, dirty deals. Why do you think there's so much energy and effort into those things? Is because they want something that's not rightfully theirs. They want a shortcut. They don't want the development to rightfully have such things. It's definitely not out of evolution and expanded consciousness that they're doing those things. Human trafficking, energy trafficking, sex trafficking, human sacrifice. Insurance policies and all of it's definitely not out of no kind of expanded consciousness. Pardon me. They want these targeted people endlessly cleaning up messes that aren't even theirs to begin with. The mess of their own frequency, their own perceptions, their own beliefs, their own investments and problems. Blame shifting. They want these people endlessly cleaning up mess. That's why they're always ruining their lemonade stands. They want them endlessly cleaning up messes that are not theirs, that never origined with them, messes that belong to these other folks, and then messes that they create by messing with the collective as a distraction and a delay tactic. So that they can walk off into their shit or get whatever was offered, part of some insurance policy, part of an inheritance, whatever. A Walmart gift card, 1 year free of paid rent, whatever was offered. Some cases, promises of fame. And all I can say to all of that is stop kidding and fooling yourself. Ain't nowhere, no how that is anything to do with any kind of conscious evolution and expansion and transcendence, if that's what you want.